I've made a lot of mistakes in my garden. When I first moved here, I was just so excited to have land, space, even if it was a small space, to start planting and growing everything like immediately. I just wanted to plant, throw things in the ground, and see what happened. So I did that. Now, a year and a half later, I'm realizing maybe I should have took a little time to understand the land that I have. The past 6 months, maybe 6 months, probably 6 months to a year, I have been studying sun patterns. I know it sounds probably really boring to a lot of you, but I have this goal, this vision of this land to be, everything has its place. I want everything to fit into its little area, and I want it to thrive in its little area. With that said, so kind of I'm taking like the permaculture approach where everything is useful and the placement is really important where you put things to function as a whole system, to be useful. If I have a pollinator garden, I want to have some beehives near it. So I want everything to have its place, basically. Yeah, it's a lot. So but before, I kind of knew this before going into it, but I had this, I just want to see what happens attitude. And I still have that, I want to see what happens attitude. But a year and a half later, I'm realizing pineapples need to be planted in the sun. I don't know why I was thinking that underneath my guadua forest was a really good place for pineapples, because there is no sun here. They're growing. Pineapples will grow in no sun, in shade, but they grow very slowly. They're actually growing pretty good for not having a lot of sun, considering, but we're moving them to sun. So a lot of mistakes that I made, I'm now coming back and being like, okay, I did it, now let me fix it. So that's what we're doing today. We're fixing mistakes that were made by not studying my land appropriately and taking time to decide where to put certain things, such as these wonderful, amazing pineapples. So you can see, I mean, they get a little sun. It's a little sun coming in, but not great for pineapples. If you've been following me for a while, you probably watched me dig these out and put in these terrace beds. And I put in pineapples, and look, they do look big. They're growing. They're probably not growing as good as if they're going to be where we're going to put them, which I'll show you. So as you can see, it's about 11:30 in the morning. There is sun on that side over there. So that side gets morning sun. This really doesn't get that much sun. You can see there's a little bit of sun here, but it's pretty shaded with these beautiful guadua. And if you know anything about guadua or bamboo, it's aggressive. It takes over. It doesn't really leave room for you to grow or put much stuff. But this is just one of my favorite places to be. I don't know why I thought plants would also want to be here with no sun. Yeah, so anyways, coffee likes it here. Coffee does well in shade. There are a bunch of citrus trees at the bottom also that do not like to be down there. So someone else really had the idea that didn't study too well either. So yeah, we're doing a lot of fixing. A lot of fixing. But it's just so beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite spots on the property because it's quiet. There's a little pond down there. So anyways, yeah. You can see there is sun down there. That's a great morning sun spot over there, which would be perfect for some greens. Things that like morning sun, early sun, not the high heat of the midday sun like pineapples like. So that will be an eventual garden of things that enjoy shade with a little sun in the morning. Back to pineapple. They look so beautiful. I love pineapple. I love pineapple and I love the look of them. They always remind me of, if you watch The Simpsons, the clown, Krusty the clown in his hair. They remind me of that, so. But fun fact, in case you don't know, pineapples, you can just, when you buy a pineapple at the store, you can plant that and it becomes pineapple. Now, where you have a lot of GMO pineapple, I don't know if it'll work. But here, where we do not have a lot of GMO pineapple, you can just take the top, cut the top, pop it right in the ground. So these should have had fruits by now. It's been 18 months. Usually it takes about 18 months to 2 years, so they have no fruits. So that's how I know I need to move them. I think that's about how long it takes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but I have others in the sun that are giving me some baby fruits already. So yeah, these little, they need a little bit more sun. Then you can just, they're super easy to pull right out. And we'll move them. So they do look good. But yeah, they need a little sun therapy. This is the vetiver. Vetiver is great, has really deep roots to hold in hillsides, so that's why I planted it here. It also likes the sun, but it does fine in the shade. This is not need a lot of sun, but likes but not requires. You can tell it's growing. And those roots are probably pretty thick down there. And I got some little coffee trees. So without this pineapple here, the coffee trees will probably take over, which is fine. Oh, they're so little. They're so cute. There's a ton of them actually. We're just going to take 2 for now because I can't really carry more than 2 because they're huge. And then I'll show you the spot that they're going to. And pineapples are so spiky. So they're not the easiest to work with. But the soil is good because I put a lot of mulch on it, compost, before I planted them. Ooh, that's a nice one. Ooh, yeah, look at these beauties. This is another, doesn't really like the shade. This is an avocado. I should move it also, but I don't really know where yet. The lulo is fine. Lulo is fine in shade. It just grows. Look at this, so beautiful. They're huge. Here I just wanted to show you a good spot for the pineapple because I planted this one, these ones here, I have about 4. Okay, I wouldn't say this is an ideal spot because we're going to put a retaining wall in here. And I'm going to have to move these pineapple again, but for now, until that happens, you can see how happy they are in the sun. They're growing, but most importantly, there's a fruit. And these have been here almost the same amount of time as the other ones. And the other ones were a lot bigger, but these ones are actually producing. Well, this one's producing. So if this one's producing, the other ones will start producing probably in this, because they all were here at the same time. And I think they take about 1.5 to 2 years to produce. So it'll be 2 years coming up in August. So we'll see what happens. But I'm so happy. This is my first little pineapple. And this is not where I'm moving the other ones because I realized, as I was thinking again, yeah, retaining wall, we need a new one. Probably not the best spot to plant things. But at the time that I moved here, most of this, it was all coffee. And it's not that it was coffee, you know, in a gray area. The coffee, it was just like I have a bunch of trees here that I actually cut a bunch of the trees because coffee trees were too thick. there was too many of them. A lot of them were diseased. So a lot of what you see here, now you can actually see the terrain. I'll even show you a better on the other side. I can see what my terrain looks like and since I've been obsessively watching the sun and realizing what I'm facing, that's west right there. So this side of the slope is southwest. What grows well, how strong is the sun, and doing all the studying stuff that I didn't do in the beginning. So yeah, and you can see with this coffee tree here, it doesn't look so good. Like, it's just not a happy tree. I think it's too sunny, not enough shade here. And it was just taken over. You can even see how it was just taken over by weeds even before. There's some plantains that aren't even, they look almost dead. I'm gonna eventually take them down. So yeah. I didn't show you guys, look at this new fence. New fence for the dogs, and nice little flat path we had done. It's so nice. But this section of coffee is amazing. It's still sunny, but I think it gets a little bit more shade in the mornings. I'm not sure. I'm still in the process of studying my land. But those are bananas, and they are amazing there too. And they produce a lot of great bananas. And the pineapples are gonna go, I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna put them. But just to give you an overall broader view, we had it cut, the grass cut, so I can see my terrain, where the flat spots are, how it looks, what needs to be done. And these new stairs I had put in, the guy did such a great job. So it's so much easier to walk around. At least this spot, and the dogs can run, so it's nice. And my maracuja, and my chayote or sidra. And then I have some passion fruit underneath there somewhere. But yeah, these all are sun lovers, and this is a great spot for them. Okay, let me show you where the pineapples are going. But just to show you again, with the cut, you can see the terrain a little better. And which coffee trees are nice. So basically where I'm putting when I first moved here, this was completely, it's not that it was all coffee, it was all coffee, but it was taken over by this viney weed. I spent a lot of time cleaning this area because it was so dense you could barely walk through it. So it took me and Rafa's nephew clean most of it. So it was the coffee wasn't even producing. The coffee trees were all bad. And once I cleaned them out, I could see, look, there's a flat space right there. I know you're like, what? That's not flat. Yeah, that's flat space right there. I think that used to be an old guamo tree. And I'm actually going to put another guamo tree on this side because guamo trees are great nitrogen fixers and the birds love them. As well as they hold in the hillside. So you can see so once I cleared all this land, I could see, oh, that's a big root. Probably a guamo. And guamo is great to shade the coffee. And it's great for a lot of things. The nitrogen fixing soil. But I'm going to put the guamo somewhere else. Probably down there somewhere. It likes the sun. And my mulberry trees down there somewhere because they like the sun too. Okay. This is the new side of the pineapples. As you can see, I've already moved a bunch over here. I thought this was a great spot because it just looked like a perfect spot to put a bunch of pineapples. And some of them are a little shaded, but these are two of the big ones I just moved over. I moved 3 over the other day, and then I'm going to move 2 more, and I think that's about, I'll put them right here. So the thing, when I first moved these pineapples here, this was all bright sun. And I was like, oh, perfect spot for them. They like the sun, they're gonna be happy. and they're very happy. Look, they've grown so much. I mulched them with a rabbit poop. I got rid of the weeds. Pineapples don't like weeds, so it gives me an excuse to keep this part weeded so I can produce pineapples. The only thing is that tree right there grew and started to shade those on the edge, but I'll just cut the tree. That tree is something you can cut and it grows back really fast. So it's not like I'm cutting a tree that's producing anything. It's just like I don't even know what kind of tree it is, to be honest. It's just like a weed tree. But they grow super fast. But yeah, before you could not see any of this space. So as you can imagine, I was very happy to find this space a bit flat. I know you're like, it's not flat, but for me it's flat. Everything here is pretty hilly, which is an adventure in itself. But yeah, and you can see these are all old coffee trees that have been cut a couple of times already. But I'll let them grow, and if they produce, great. We'll see what happens. They should give me some coffee. But they're not going to shade the pineapples too much. And if they start shading them, I'll just cut them back. I'll just trim them. A lot of trees like to be cut back. All right, let's go get the 2 pineapples and move those over. And I think that'll be filled my space. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll have 13 pineapples here. Oh, it's an interesting number. Is it 13? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, it'll be 14. I missed a little tiny one. So 14 pineapples here. And then these are just some flowers. Some marigolds I'll plant in between. So this is like half of the project I have for today. The other half I'm working on moving yucca. Maybe that'll be another video. I don't want this to be too long. It's a short video for today. Just basically learning. I like to learn a lot, and sometimes I act before I learn, which is why I'm having to backpedal. Okay, let's go get these pineapples. So I just brought the 2 down. I think I'll leave the 4 still over there. There's no need to put all of them. I think 14 here is plenty, and then I have the other 4 that when I have to move them for the, see, this is my rabbit poop pile. Then when I have to move the 4 for the retaining wall, we'll probably do that in, I think like 6 months maybe. 6 months to a year. So there was an old tree here. So then I can move them here to still have some space. And by then I'll see how these are doing. But these they like sprouted up like crazy. They were so tiny, and I was like, oh my gosh, did I put them in the wrong spot? Are they gonna like this spot? Are they far enough apart? Are they too crowded? All the things you think about when you're doing a garden. And then I came down here to weed them. I was like, maybe they need weeded. And they like took off. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put this one right. I think it's okay right here. I think so. And that's the thing. If not, I'll just move it around. I mean, I feel like I'm moving. This is gonna be like a week. Spending a week moving things. Well, not really moving, but yeah, I guess moving. I have a bunch of raspberries to move around. Stuff like duplicates here super fast, so if I don't move stuff around, it just takes over like everything. Like my raspberries were taking over a whole section of my yard, and then the dog just eats them. But I am not complaining. I love them, but I want them to keep spreading, so I want to move them so they spread all over, not just in my yard. And then the dog just eats them. I want to take them. Anyway, so yeah, I think if I would have studied the land a little bit, but I also am okay with not. It's okay. I learned, I like to do things to see what happens, to see, are these pineapples, how are they doing? Okay, it didn't work. That experiment failed. Let's try something else. And pineapples are something that are very hardy. Like, It takes a lot to kill them. They just will grow slow. They'll grow slow, but they'll still produce pineapples over there. They're just going to be slower, so it'll be like an experiment. How long does shade versus sun take to produce a pineapple fruit? Who knows? You find out. You look so happy. You're going to be so happy here, little pineapple. And they like to be mulched, but I was reading they don't like super, like, a lot of, like, compost stuff. They like mulched around so the weeds can't get in, but they don't like super rich soil, so they're okay being a little bit abused, I guess. I don't know, not abused, but like neglected. As long as you keep the weeds taken care of, they're okay. But I like to give them a little, every few months, a little some. Yeah, I think that's okay. It might be too close, but that hole looked like it just needed, it looked like it needed something. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. And their roots spread, so they're not like gonna hold the hill, because their roots go wide, not deep. That's why they're so easy to pull out. But right here, okay, this is what I was gonna do yesterday. And it started raining. We're in the beginning of rain season. It's been a little bit tricky trying to do stuff around here. But in the mornings, it's usually not too bad. Oh yeah, much better. Also, the ground is super soft because it's been raining, so I'm gonna get rid of all this aggressive grass. You're gonna be a big, beautiful coffee tree. And all these coffee trees that I cut are actually coming back healthier now. So it might have been time for them to be cut. They have to be cut every so often. I was reading one place that said every 3 years and somewhere said every 5 years. But I think basically when they stop producing coffee and they look kind of yucky, that's when they need cut. Oh yeah, this little thing's not the best. Okay, I'm gonna have to probably go back and get a big shovel. But look how big this is. Oh, so I was gonna just put this in right here. It's gonna take up a lot of, you're gonna take up a lot of space. But this little pineapple patch is looking so good now. I probably have room for one more little one here. Yeah, just gonna organize a little. This, I'm gonna get rid of this invasive grass. I don't know what it is, but it takes over. But I was reading, I can't take it all. I want to get rid of a lot of it, but I was reading it's better to, I have perennial peanut, which is like a great ground cover, and I read, well, it's a nitrogen fixer, and it holds the ground better than grass, well, light grass, without being invasive. It's like a soft ground cover, almost like clover. So I'm gonna start moving that. Yeah, look at these big clumps. This is horrible grass. Needs to, but with all these pineapple here, pineapple's not like a ground holder, but it'll be okay because I planted something and I can remove a few of these clumps. Maybe. Oh, definitely my gym workout. I have not needed a gym in years. I've been working in fields. But look at this beautiful soil. I mulched this. I created this little mulching area, little mushrooms, last year. And it smells amazing. Maybe you like the smell of dirt. Maybe you don't. But look at this. It's so healthy. No pesticides, no nothing. It's just organic matter. If you do not have rabbits yet, I recommend rabbits. They're so easy, and their poop is amazing. And even though I haven't had them very long, I'll eventually get more. But this was just from buildup. I watched the channel who talked about biomass. That's what I did here, and look at this, it's amazing. Except for, okay, we're not gonna take your root, we'll just cut you. Yeah, so I'm slowly learning more about permaculture, gardening in general. I watch a lot of channels too that talk about it, but I like to learn, and I like the science behind things, so it's probably why I like doing this. Actually, I could probably put one more there. And brought Big Floof. We call him Big Floof. Had to have a pause. I didn't get very far, did I? Had to go make lunch. He wants to go run. I told him he cannot run the mountain today because he's been escaping a lot and he's so dirty. Right, Big Floof? Huh? He listens pretty good until he gets in his on a chase, and then he's like, does not listen. I think for a husky, he's pretty well behaved. So I'm just kind of cleaning out some of these weeds to plant this last pineapple. Right here, it's the biggest one, so I don't want it to be in a weed zone. Alright, let's put you right here. This looks like a good spot. Thank you. Yeah. And then later, maybe in a few months, I'll move the rest over here. I want to make a little bit, clean up that space a little bit more. I don't want these to be all right on top of each other. They do need some space to spread out and grow. Most of these, like I said, came from the tops of pineapples we ate. Because I love pineapple. And here they're not as like, when I used to eat them in the US, I never really liked them as much. But here they taste softer. They're not as like acidic. So especially when you home grow them, they're so good. He's gonna go running. I can tell. Basically, he just runs in the river. He loves the water. It's not like a river, it's like a creek, but it connects all the properties together, basically. I think I need to bring some more mulch over. Maybe I'll put some banana mulch around them. There. I'm not going to water them because the ground is kind of still pretty moist from yesterday's rain. And yeah, I'll just throw some mulch on them. Go grab some bamboo leaves from across some quadruped leaves from where I got these, and then mulch the whole area so it doesn't get weed ridden. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. I finished moving. I originally was going to leave a few pineapples over there, but so I did leave 2. So I left 2 over there instead of 4. I ended up cleaning this whole space. Whew. Okay, I ended up cleaning up this little space that was next to where I planted the other two right here, and then I wanted to weed that section, so I did. This is the thing, I think I'm going to do something that's going to be like super fast, and then I end up, since when I'm out here, I just end up doing everything. So I moved all but 2, so I have a 16, I should have 16 over here now. And this is kind of, yeah, so it looks good. I got all the weeds out. I can't really go any further because there's a bunch of trees there. And there's an old stump, I think I mentioned earlier. I think that's an old guamo tree stump. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna touch it, I'm just gonna weed it. But I also put in this to make it a little bit, you know, to collect the water so it doesn't drain when it rains, just like go down. So I'm kind of terracing these slopes also. You can see there's a terrace I created there. So they look really good. So these are the ones I had planted. And then there's a few I planted the other day. I think I'm officially done with this section. So since I was down here, I just always start doing stuff. I'm gonna make this like a little path right here. A path below and a path above. I'm gonna do like a switchback style, like a zigzag switchback. And in between the switchbacks, I'm gonna have little pockets of this, like beds of pineapple and flowers. And down here, I don't know what yet, but I think maybe my asparagus, because asparagus needs to be somewhere that has enough space to kind of expand. It's already growing a lot in a container. And then a little path above here, and then another little switchback of something growing. I don't know. So that's my plan. And some of them will be trees. I want to get some tomato de arbol, feijoa. I have a couple mulberries. And then, but for now I'm just organizing the pineapple patch, which success, job done, one job done, off my checklist, bit organized. Tomorrow I'm going to be cleaning the yucca patch and planting yucca. So I'm trying to like plant things that are going to take time to grow. So they're already in the ground, so next year I can harvest, because I have stuff ready to be harvested probably in the next 6 months. So I'm trying to stagger plant. So yeah, I'm going to go pick some coffee. That is the end. It's pretty late. It's probably like 4:34. It's like 4 o'clock. So the sun is down, so it's much better. So thanks for watching me move my pineapples and kind of give you, you know, ideas of what it's like to farm on a hillside. It's a challenge as always, but the soil is great and everything is looking good. These need a little time. Yeah, but these pineapples are they're gonna perk up. It'll probably rain tonight, so I'm not gonna water them. So thanks for watching. See y'all in the next video. Bye.